Hi, welcome. This is TK welcoming you into a class of physical sciences, and as usual, taking you from grade 10 to 12 work. The whole FET is catered for, so everybody, you stay there, you don't move, because this is for you. As long as you're doing physical sciences and you're in grade 10 to 12, 10, 11, and 12, this is for you. We're talking about longitudinal waves, we're talking about Doppler effect. This is a continuation of the previous lesson. That was lesson number 9. This is, of course, lesson number 10. Okay, now the pitch of sound. What is this? Pitch is the degree of highness or lowness of a sound. Okay, and with regard to the human ear, the human ear is able to perceive or hear sounds of frequencies ranging from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Now, all of a sudden, we're talking frequency, but there we're talking pitch. Now, pitch actually is represented by the frequency of the wave. Okay, it's only that we're being specific now, talking about sound, and therefore, in sound, we refer to frequency as the pitch of that sound. Okay. Now, the pitch of a note when playing music depends on the frequency of the sound wave. Okay, I've just explained that now. An increased frequency leads to an increased pitch. Okay, because actually the two, okay, could be referred to as being one and the same when we're talking sound. Okay. Next, the pitch of a note is directly proportional to the frequency of the vibration. Okay, so as you increase the frequency of that vibration, you will be increasing the pitch of that sound wave. All right. Now, coming to loudness, because now we're talking longitudinal waves, we're specifically talking about sound waves. Remember, sound waves are an example of longitudinal waves. The loudness. What is loudness of sound? The loudness is the measurement of the energy carried by a wave. If we want to measure how much energy is carried by that sound wave, we will check on how loud that sound is. The loudness of a note depends on the amplitude of the wave. Okay, so the higher the amplitude, the louder the noise, the louder that sound. Okay, the lower the amplitude, the softer that sound. Okay, when the pulse or the disturbance on a guitar string is big, the resulting sound is louder. In other words, if you've got a string on a guitar like that, you can displace it, you can disturb it that way, that's the pulse. Or you can pull it further. This one will create a softer sound because the amplitude here is less. But this one here, this one, let's call that one B and this one A. This disturbance here, this pulse at B will create a louder sound. Why? Because the amplitude of the disturbance is bigger. That's what we mean. Okay, so the loudness of sound depends on the amplitude of that sound. Okay, continuing with loudness, the bigger the amplitude, like I've just explained, the louder the note will sound. The loudness in a note is directly proportional to what? To the amplitude. So these two slides, this one and the previous one, teaches us something. It says to us pitch is related to the frequency. So the pitch of sound is related to frequency. And this is also saying to us, still on sound, when we talk loudness, we're talking the amplitude of the sound wave. Okay, so this brings us, or brings that relationship. When we're talking pitch, understand its frequency. When we're talking loudness, understand we're talking the amplitude of that wave. Okay. Now, sound, the loudness of that sound is measured in what we call decibels. This is the unit of measurement of how loud the sound is. Okay? We call it decibels. Excessive noise can be harmful to people and the environment. Okay, we know this. Loud music, aircrafts in flight, noisy construction sites, all these leads to what we call noise pollution. Nobody likes the noise pollution, and therefore we shouldn't be really deliberately making this noise, especially in our residences. Okay, excessive noise, and I think this we know here, may lead to loss of hearing. Okay, don't play excessive don't play music excessively, and the volume is so huge. You know, when we've got especially young people, young children, infants, that may lead to loss of hearing. Excessive noise from explosives such as firecrackers leads to depression in animals. We know this. You know, every time people are to blast this kind of things, the whole community fears for their dogs, fears for their cats. So that leads to depression in those animals. Okay, so on that note, let's close this session. Let's meet in the next lesson.